Serrato, Earl Walton, Don Daly, and Ohio State controls the tip. But, Jimmy, that's a big miss for Indiana. We'll see how their backcourt handles things tonight.
Well, I mean, when their backcourt plays well, especially with Rob Finney hitting jump shots, this is a different Indiana offense.
Liddell, and his first shot off the mark. Zed Key trying to get it on the offensive glass, can't tap it back.
Good look, good first play. That time, Liddell in space, able to get a good look. And then Key with the tap, unfortunately didn't get it, but good rebounding by Indiana.
And almost taken away. It is taken away. Eugene Brown got a hand on it. Now Wheeler back to Brown. What a block by Race Thompson.
And that's called not giving up on the play. Easy. Race could have laid back and not hustled down the court. That would have been an easy two for Brown. But no, sir. That tells you how important this stuff is. You don't give up anything to this Ohio State Buckeye team, especially early in the game.
So that 4-game Indiana losing streak to Illinois, Northwestern, Michigan State, and then Wisconsin on Tuesday. But they've had 6 days off since then as Thompson fumbles it out of bounds. An early Indiana turnover.
Yeah, well, you know, Ohio State active with their hands. They were like this against Iowa early, able to get out in transition, a little trickery right here with the ball, then gives it up. But then once you go off 2 feet, you allow your opponent to catch up that half a second. 2 feet right there instead of 1. Race Thompson able to catch up.
You mentioned Ohio State's loss to Iowa here just 2 days ago, so you got to make a quick turnaround here tonight to try to get back in the win column. Here's Wheeler. He's been shooting more of these as of late. Off the mark. Fight for the rebound, and Trace Jackson-Davis gets it.
Yeah, good block out. And look, too, I think Ohio State wants to figure out ways to get Zed Key involved in the game early, put some pressure on Trace Jackson to have to guard him early. I think that keeps Key involved.
Fadeaway jump shot, and getting the bounce for the first bucket, Parker Stewart.
Yeah, Parker Stewart can get going, especially from behind the three-point arc. It opens up so much more space for Jackson-Davis inside to kind of maneuver and operate.
Yeah, he's Indiana's best shooter. Here is Zed Key. You talked about them getting him more involved, and he goes to that left hand for 2.
I love it. Allow Key to get deep position. You're not going to give it to him to make multiple moves, but when he's able to use that big body inside and pound a little bit.
And now here's Brown disrupting again. Lost it going up. And they're going to say it'll stay with Ohio State. It's an interesting matchup between these two. Remember, Trace Jackson-Davis had 27 in the first meeting in Bloomington when Indiana won. Zed Key this time too much. Zed Key, a guy who gives him 9 points a game. They've talked a lot, Ohio State, about getting somebody else besides Liddell going offensively.
Well, I mean, but Malaki Branham has also come up big time for them. You see a pull-up jump shot that time by Xavier Johnson. So he's starting to feel his way, but that third guy, that consistent third player is what they're, searching for, if you're Ohio State.
But Liddell is the man. He's missed his first 2 3-pointers. He can hit that, though. He's a 40% three-point shooter. Thompson dropping it off, and there's a foul.
Move of golf, cigars. I mean, one of my favorite older, mature gentlemen. And look at Davis right there following it. And this is an area, too, where in game 1 against these 2 teams, Indiana was able to control a little bit more of the paint.
Eugene Brown for 3, and he knocks it down. Just his 6th three-pointer of the season. Now, you talked about the paint. Indiana was plus 28 in the first matchup against Ohio State.
And a lot of that is not just a post-up between Race Thompson or Jackson-Davis. It was plays like this here where it was an offensive rebound, and now you were able to get up and now tip it in because now the defense collapsed. Both Zed Key and Liddell go for the block shot. Open lane. Or was guards getting downhill 2 feet in the paint, layup or transition. So Ohio State has their work cut out for them.
Yeah, Ohio State in that game also shot a season-low 30% as Xavier Johnson finds the range from deep. They'll say that's a 2, foot on the line. Indiana with the early 6-5 advantage. Zed Key, they're getting him a ton of touches early, but he throws it away. Race Thompson got a hand on it for Indiana. And then Indiana gives it right back. Second half adjustments, what jumps out at you for both sides?
Well, Ohio State is winning the battle in the paint, now only 16-12, but that's huge for them. I think that, one, the unforced turnovers for Ohio State now get you into lack of having attempts at the rim. And I think for Indiana, having some success from behind the arc, I think will really take some pressure off their half-court offense.
2 of 6 from three-point land. Now, just as we say that, there's Miller Kopp, who we talked about, gets his own rebound, thanks to Race Thompson keeping that alive. Miller Kopp, 3 years at Northwestern, he was a great shooter, but he just hasn't found the stroke this season.
Well, a lot of times you think it's transferable. See a beautiful move, a tough move inside by Thompson, but you think that skill set is transferable because he's done it at a high level in a program in the Big Ten, so you're very familiar with it. But I tell you, this tells you how fragile the mental mind state is with young men, that despite being a great shooter, you just can't find his rhythm right now.
And inside, E.J. Liddell finds himself wide open. So Liddell, quiet first half. Now he has 7 points, 3 of 8 from the field. Pass deflected. Jackson Davis gets it. And here's Xavier Johnson. First half, 5 turnovers for Xavier Johnson, the floor leader. Here, he's taking it right to the rim.
And you don't think about that, too, because this is a junior point guard that's kind of been through the battles a little bit. And then when your point guard is turning the ball over, it kind of halts the momentum of your offense. But that was an excellent move right there
for Xavier Johnson, the floor leader. Here, he's taking it right to the rim.
And you don't think about that, too, because this is a junior point guard that's kind of been through the battles a little bit. And then when your point guard is turning the ball over, it kind of halts the momentum of your offense. But that was an excellent move right there by Johnson.
And on the other end, foul on Trace Jackson Davis.
Race Thompson is going about his business, and you go right at E.J. Liddell. Forcing him, had to play some defense one-on-one, able to get over the top, but then off the pick, again, the switch wasn't there. Parker Stewart was like, where's the help at? And it was the easiest two that Liddell probably get all evening.
A nice little slip pass from Branham.
Yep.
Here's Zed Key. Backing down Jackson Davis and going to that right hand. He can use either.
But the difference is he was a little bit closer to the block. So now 2 dribbles, he was right into his move, as opposed to if you pushing out a little bit further. Now defenses have time to recover, and he's not as effective, balling his way back down the lane.
Zed Key, the sophomore from Bay Shore, New York, on Long Island. And here's Trace Jackson Davis from Indiana, playing for his home state, home school. 3-pointer off the mark, Xavier Johnson. Rebound, Ohio State. E.J. Liddell thought he might stop and pop. Instead, he finds Brown, and Brown finds the bottom of the bucket.
I tell you what, and we talked about others stepping up in that first half, and right there was Brown knocking in his second 3-point shot.
He's got 10. Again, this is a guy in Brown that averages 3. And speaking of feeling good about his shot, how about Race Thompson with a range from deep? It's not Race's strength, 24% this year, but
he has a nice stroke, though.
He does.
He has beautiful form on his jump shot.
And some teams have been leaving him open, and he said all year, I'm going to take it if I'm wide open, and he did there. Now on the defensive end, Liddell, pretty hook shot.
He just elevated over the top right there. I mean, that right there was just, I'm taking you to where I want to get you to, and no matter what you do, I'm getting this shot up over you over the top.
That's an All-American going to work, and the junior E.J. Liddell, and then near steal by Brown, but Stewart able to keep it. Jackson Davis.
Ooh, really good Big Ten basketball between 2 outstanding individuals who love to compete. Nothing malicious there, just 2 guys playing hard and physical.
And a lot of respect for one another from these 2 juniors.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, because now Trace had the height a little bit more coming in than E.J. Liddell, but both had to continue to prove themselves. who they are as players. So they respect it.
And now they're 2 of the top 6 scorers in the conference.
Well, how about this, too, in the country, too? I mean, in top 20. You know what I mean? 4 of the guys are here, in the Big Ten. E.J. Liddell's knocking on the door as a 5th,
And it's been impressive to watch him all season long. Now Branham, reverse, up and in. Malaki Branham with a dozen. Ohio State matching their largest lead at 8 points, and Mike Woodson at a good spot for Chris Holtman to sit him out because we're going to have another media timeout at the next whistle here. Mike Woodson calling that timeout, so Indiana with 2 remaining. Jackson Davis, patient. There's that spin move, and he draws the foul.
Against Indiana in my career, split my freshman year. We won twice my sophomore year, and Indiana won twice my junior year. But the battles were epic in regards to the respect we have for Indiana. Of course, Bobby Knight being on Ohio State, former player. But at that time, the Big Ten was so tough. 2 free throws by Jackson Davis. I mean, with Indiana, Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois. But Calvert, hated guarding Calvert, man. He just ran off 18,000 picks. Beautiful backdoor cut.
And an easy slam for Branham, and Ohio State for the first time has a double-digit lead.
And they set that play up because Branham has been coming up off the baseline knowing that Indiana would deny that pass, so they cleared everything out to set up that backdoor cut.
But those were some games, you and Calvert Chaney. You talked about mutual respect. It's a three-pointer knocked down by Parker Stewart. Indiana needed that one. We talked about the respect between Liddell and Trace Jackson Davis.
Thing.
There's an answer. Branham on the other end. Malaki Branham's going to be special.
Oh, no doubt. 6 for 7 right now. Talking about being efficient, 4 for 4 from behind arc. And the thing is, he's not trying to force his offense, which shows a level of maturity for the young man that's to be complimented.
That's a good point. It's kind of been a quiet 17, if there is such a thing. Race Thompson, little runner, no, and Brown flying through to grab the rebound. I feel like Indiana's might be a little bit of a danger zone here.
Yeah. This is where you really need to hone in defensively. See if you can create something, a steal, get out in transition, get you a basket, or get fouled and get to the free throw line.
Jamari Wheeler in the paint, pivots up top. Liddell lines it up and throws it right out of bounds. A rare air ball from Liddell.
Read and react. You know that Indiana wants to overplay the wing, so you set this play up in order to get it backdoor. And what I'm talking about here, see, the corner is empty. You cleared through. Now E.J. Liddell. Now that time Parker did slip, but again, it was because he was going to play hard up top to kind of deny the pass.
A 30-point game against Wisconsin on Tuesday in that loss. It was the 5th 30-point game of his career, but man, he is struggling at the stripe right now. 5 of 11 on the season, a 67% shooter. And because of that, Indiana, a 68% shooting team, and that's at the bottom of the Big Ten. It's been another one of their Achilles heels this season.
Yeah. When you're not shooting the ball well from the outside, you have to figure out ways to balance that out. And a good way is to be a good free throw shooting team, because now the pick and pop game is more effective. But then when you do get fouled, to be able to get that free throw percentage up into the 70s, where you make teams pay for fouling you.
Mike Woodson said that earlier in the year. You get Trace Jackson Davis to a 72-73% free throw shoot. That's a couple extra points a game. Could be a big deal.
And when he's knocking down, let's say, a 15 to 18-foot jump shot. Okay? Now that's a difference, because you're pulling out the opposing post player, which opens it up for your guard to be able to get downhill.
But this is where he's good, although, just as I say that, he throws it out of bounds. Chance to add to their largest lead here, Malaki Branham, and he gives it right back to Indiana. What do they say, the ball don't lie?
They don't lie. Those unforced turnovers come back to haunt you.
Now, can Indiana get something going on the offensive end? Again, they're without Trey Galloway, Rob Finney, and Christian Lander tonight. All injured. Race Thompson, no. Put back, missed that as well. And a rebound knocked out of bounds. It belongs to Ohio State. Jamari Wheeler, the Penn State transfer. And now Branham with 17, getting downhill, losing it. No whistle. Xavier Johnson, great speed. Oh, he tried to throw that down. Kyle Young got him.
If he's down by the baseline, he has a better view of how that play is being played, and the call may be a little different.
Well, Xavier Johnson hits both.
That's right.
So, remember, Johnson struggled early with the turnovers, but now he has 8 points. Wheeler tried to blow right by him, and now Johnson picks up the foul. And Johnson was in a stretch where he had 28 assists and 9 turnovers, his best stretch of the season. And so now to see him kind of regress the last 3 games, troubling, but Mike Woodson believes in this kid. Jamari Wheeler, after the Johnson foul, gets 1 of 2. Approaching the 12-minute mark. 9 lead changes in the first half, but it's been Buckeyes in command here in the second. Off-balance shot for Bates. Somehow it fell back to him, and he missed it again. And Wheeler trying to save it.
It's really tied to the backcourt in their performance.
And now tonight, you know, those 2 guys are obviously huge.
Yep.
As Kopp misses, got it back, and scored it. Miller Kopp his first bucket. But then tonight you're missing Parker Stewart.
Yep.
You're missing Rob Finney for the 5th straight game.
Well, Parker's in there.
Or not Parker Stewart, Trey Galloway.
Trey Galloway,
yes,
who brings you energy instantly, and that's to try that back door again with Michi.
A good steal. Tamar Bates got the hand on it.
Yeah, but, you know, Christian Lander. But Galloway gives you a different energy when he comes into the game, especially on the defensive end of the court.
Yeah, and Rob Finney is just that older veteran. And there's Rob in the middle, Christian on the right, and then Trey Galloway on the left. Now, Galloway's day-to-day. Tonight's the first game he's missed with that lower body injury. But Finney's, he's kind of the older guy. 20 minutes a game really keeps him in line.
Well, you saw the Purdue game when he had 20?
Yeah.
When he was knocking down shots, we had the game. I mean, it's just like, and Coach Woodson implores him to be more aggressive, to look for his offense. Not force it, but look for it.
They're not sure when Finney's coming back. 5 straight out with that plantar fasciitis. Kopp forces it up and draws the foul on Brown. So after a quiet game, Miller Kopp starting to wake up a little bit here offensively for Indiana.
Yeah, but he utilized the threat of him shooting from behind the arc to kind of get to a spot and pick up that foul right now. Smart play.
Miller Kopp knocks down the first. So again, 3 years at Northwestern, was a double-digit scorer the last 2 seasons, but this year he's dipped down to under 6 points a game in his new role for Mike Woodson.
And his role is a little bit different too. I mean, there at Northwestern, he was more involved in the offense in regards to having touches.
And playing more minutes. So, you know, that contributes to why maybe the production and the consistency hasn't been there for Kopp this year. But Indiana back within a half dozen here. Less than 11 to play. Here's E.J. Liddell. Liddell with 9 points, marked by Thompson. Gets it off Jamari Wheeler. Michi Johnson. Back to Wheeler. Long 3. And a rebound to Miller Kopp. So Indiana trying to make a little bit of a run. Johnson inside. Thompson with Liddell on his hip, up with the left hand, no good. Battle for the rebound, and we got a foul, and they're going to get that on Indiana, or did they get that on Ohio State?
And that's where
Indiana.
Yeah, Race Thompson, feel your opponent. You know that Liddell's playing you for that right shoulder. That's when you pivot back to your right because you had some space and room inside. Right here, if you spin back with another dribble, now you have your right hand to finish, but then sometimes you get locked into a move in your head that you're going to do and you don't deviate from it.
Johnson trying to get it down inside. Here's Kyle Young. He's only put up 1 shot in this ball game, Young. Now here's his second shot, a foul, and Michael Dury, he picked up one on the other end, and now a foul here, and he's frustrated. Michael Durr only gives him 7 minutes a game off the bench, but a big body at 7 foot, 250 pounds. So Kyle Young to the line. Indiana's 11 of 19 at the stripe. Ohio State 6 of 9. They've gotten there 10 fewer times. And this is their leader, his 128th game in a Buckeye uniform, most for an Ohio State player.
And followed Chris Holtmann here. And a trust factor there. Huge, I think, get for this Ohio State program. Kind of solidifies your post positions, but excellent leader on and off the floor.
And Ohio, Mr. Basketball runner-up back in the day. And there's Miller Kopp. He continues to have a resurgence here in the second half. Indiana back within a handful now. All 7 for Kopp have been in the last 5 minutes. Now Meechie Johnson and Eugene Brown trying to calm down Ohio State. Young in the paint, going to work. And he got knocked down, no whistle. Xavier Johnson up and rejected. Wow, Xavier Johnson meet Eugene Brown.
I tell you what, 2 outstanding defensive plays. Durr on the opposite side. Kyle Young, you're not going to post and back down Durr. Then Eugene Brown, third, just times this up. And Xavier Johnson right there meets him right up top, avoids the body contact. Hoosiers ball underneath.
Eugene Brown talked about how his offense is coming to life, and Chris Holtmann says defense is his calling card, and you see it on display there. Kopp fading away. Good look for him, but missed it. Rebound, Johnson almost had it. Young trying to call a timeout. Instead, they're going to say jump ball, and Indiana will retain possession.
How about Indiana hanging close right here with Trace Jackson Davis only 1 point in the second half. Trying to figure out ways to keep this game within balance and see the hustle there.
Well, it feels like Indiana has really woken up here in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, Ohio State had the same kind of issue with Iowa in regards to they extended the lead a little bit in the first half. They came out in the second half, kind of found a little groove, but then all of a sudden Iowa clamped in, locked in defensively. If that's the case, you can call everything. And whether it's intentional or not, based on the rule book, that's what you have to go back. And smartly by Mike Woodson, they would have never called it. It would just been a jump ball on the floor. You know what I mean? So smart by Woodson and the staff to recognize that.
And this could be huge when Indiana's making this comeback. Now Johnson knocks down both. You got a 1-possession game, and Indiana gets the ball here. Meanwhile, Ohio State hasn't had a field goal in almost 6 minutes, so things have really shifted.
Again, the Iowa game, the same kind of unfortunate situation offensively for Ohio State. The Buckeyes fans saw it where they just went ice cold. Not really getting any kind of rhythm.
Game that Indiana badly needs to stop a 4-game losing streak that has put them back toward the NCAA tournament bubble. Miller Kopp thought about it, gets it back. He's so much more aggressive here the last 5 minutes, but they're going to call him for a travel before the shot.
I tell you what, he turned it over, but I love his aggressive nature right there. You know, trying to get to his shot. A young man who struggled, and we talked about it, could easily shy away from the moment. But he knocked in a couple right there. He was ultra aggressive. This slid that pivot foot.
And now, nearly the 11th turnover of the night for Ohio State. Tamar Bates got a hand on it, but knocked it out. Race Thompson back in for Indiana. Yeah, you just get the sense this one is going right down to the wire. It has been a battle, very physical game as well, as most of these usually are in the conference in February.
Yeah. These are the kind of games when things are not clicking when you're shooting. Ohio State is at 53% right now.
Nice play there by Branham to get the scoring drought over. First field goal for Ohio State in 6.5 minutes. Jackson Davis, one-hand pass out to Kopp in the corner. Off the heel, Brown with a rebound. Said Russell, the transfer from Louisiana, who used to be a high-volume scorer. In a different role at Ohio State, but this guy, he is a high-volume scorer. Still sitting on 9 points. Trying to change that. Tough shot off the mark.
Good help that time by Xavier Johnson, kind of stunning in to at least have E.J. Liddell just kind of put his eyes on him.
Xavier Johnson,
wow.
Pretty move using the pivot foot. I think Indiana, just like in Bloomington, Jimmy, they've defended E.J. Liddell as well as anybody has this season.
Well, but you can, because when you got a big guy like Trayce Jackson-Davis or even Race Thompson, you can kind of guard one-on-one. All you do is provide a little help with the stunt.
Young, open three, way too much. And Indiana with a chance here to tie with a 3. Instead, getting within 1 on a Tamar Bates runner.
Smart play. And the Buckeyes back on their heels. That time Bates utilized his quickness, but also his wiggle to get inside and get an easier 2 than maybe jacking up a 3-point shot there. It's on the road to like 36% shooting. What they're playing at their home court in Arizona is the visitor. You know what I mean?
Speaking of shooting, Indiana's shooting under 41%. Ohio State over 50%, Jimmy, but yet we got a 1-point game here.
Yeah, but Indiana from the free throw line is +5.
That's true. Young, great pass. He got blocked, though. Boy, look at Race Thompson. He has put on a display of hustle and defense tonight.
Well, when you play defense consistently as a team, I mean, you have to have a lockdown defender that can, you know, do his thing. But the rotations are always there for Indiana. Sometimes they may come a little late, but they're there. And we've seen this consistently tonight. The pursuit of the basketball by Indiana has been excellent.
Trayce Jackson-Davis, he and Liddell tied atop the Big Ten for most blocks, and Jackson-Davis getting his first of the night there. They're checking to see if he touched the rim on that block. So I guess they didn't think that it grazed the rim. Anyway, they don't need much of the shot clock as Branham puts it up quickly but misses. So after all of that, Indiana gets it back with a chance to grab the lead. Indiana hasn't led since it was 4-2. And a foul. Crowd moaning and groaning. Zed Key, and that is the 4th on the sophomore for Ohio State.
That's big because you have 6.5 minutes left from a major force inside in regards to being able to at least hold Trayce Jackson-Davis, you know, one-on-one without having to help as much.
So now Key goes to the bench. Jackson-Davis, who we talked about in his career, has lived at the line. This is his 12th free throw attempt, and now he's 6 of 12. A correction, by the way, Indiana did lead at 18-17, but they haven't led since. That could change here with another free throw. And it does. Indiana in front. Ohio State, one of their last 7. They've been on a big drought here. Malaki Branham's been the guy. He's got 19 to lead him tonight. He's going to work, kicking it out. Here's Wheeler. Back to Branham. And Liddell, who's been bottled up most of the evening. Getting in the paint, double team, and Xavier Johnson got him on the wrist.
And I'm going to say something. It may not seem like a lot, but the pass from Jamari Wheeler has to be better because that took Liddell off the block. And now that induces that double team to come. So watch the pass and watch where Liddell is at. He's anchored in where now maybe 1 or 2 dribbles he can go. You know, right there. But look where it's at.
Yeah, now they're going to get it to him a little bit off the block, and he kicks it up top to Wheeler. Wheeler a little shy to shoot it. Wheeler driving, stepping back, contested jumper off the side of the iron, and Race Thompson defended it, and he rebounded it.
Tougher shot than what he had on the kick out right there by Wheeler. Another successful defensive stop by the Hoosiers.
Race Thompson now with 8 rebounds. Here's Jackson-Davis, double team. He'll try again. That spin movement in the block by Young. Jackson Davis had it stripped. That was all Kyle Young right there. And then they're going to call a jump ball. Now the arrow will keep it on this end.
Well, I tell you what, really good escape dribble by Trace Jackson to clear the space and then go attack. But that was Kyle Young kind of seeking that out, not staying attached to his man, able to come in and get the block. Good hustle, but the jump ball goes towards the Hoosier. Now, if you're Ohio State, you got to keep in mind that the arrow now points your way. So that may be something big later in the game as far as getting the possession out of it.
They had to fix the shot clock. It's at 20 seconds, not 30. Driving inside. Stewart has it rejected by Liddell. Indiana gets it back. Xavier Johnson surveying, trying to get it down. Here is Trace Jackson Davis. Skip pass. Bates. Bucket. Tamar Bates, the freshman, as you said, on his birthday, coming to life. And Indiana up by 4. Bates with a couple of big buckets here as of late. Ohio State needs one in a bad way. They go to Liddell, and he's rejected by Thompson. Indiana with a run out. Bates rejected on the other end by Branham. It's a block party in Columbus. Wheeler for 3, in and out. And the rebound at Johnson, and the Hoosiers want to run it. Well, hold on. Mike Woodson says stop. But wait. Now down the lane, Race Thompson missing it at the rim.
Well, actually, that wasn't a bad shot by Race because the defense didn't identify him. He just wasn't able to finish.
And Chris Holtman is screaming for a timeout, and he finally gets one after a frantic sequence. Ohio State has gone cold at the wrong time. They haven't scored in 4.5 minutes.
Now that's 2 scoring droughts, right?
Yeah.
For the Buckeyes.
They went 6 minutes without a field goal, got one, and now they haven't scored a point in 4.5.
Yeah. Again, they get stagnant on offense, and the movement is not there. It's easier to guard.
Malaki Branham trying to drive it on Stewart. Now there's a foul they're going to say that's on the floor. And we'll have bonus the rest of the way for both of these teams.
And Malaki wants to get to that right hand. If you're Indiana, you know that play is coming. You want to send Malaki back to his left. He's not as comfortable left operating with that, but he's strong going to that side of the court. And that's why Chris Holtman runs that play. You'll notice if he comes off a curl, it's a curl so he can get to his right hand. As a pick and roll gets to his right hand.
Branham 20 points, and because of the ineffectiveness of Liddell, I think what we've seen, Jimmy, the last few minutes is really Branham is kind of the alpha out there for Ohio State.
But it's a lot more challenging to defend on the perimeter. If you're a post player, I can sink down, I can take passes away, I can crowd space. It's a lot easier to take the ball out of a post player's hand than it is on a wing or a guard.
This crowd trying to come back to life here. Stewart trying to sit him back down. He cannot. Thompson, huge rebound for Indiana. His 9th of the ball game. Jackson Davis trying to pass it back, and Thompson somehow corralled it and laid it up and in.
Quick move, decisive by Jackson. The double team came. He read it early and was able to drop a dime inside to his front court mate.
Great chemistry between those two. Now Liddell leaning in, getting fouled, but it will not go for E.J. Liddell.
Right here, quick move, look. Before it gets there, now Kyle Young was helping off the baseline, you know, which is a no-no because, you know, right there, E.J. Liddell was still in good position if the shot went up to contest, but Kyle Young overhelped. That opened it up for Race Thompson to be able to catch and finish.
And Liddell, it rolls around a few times, but now he has 10 points, double figures, 35 straight games for Liddell. Go back to that Race Thompson offensive rebound, Jimmy. We talked about the struggles for Ohio State against Iowa on that part.
Yep.
And Indiana has 15 offensive boards, Ohio State 5 tonight.
And 17 second chance points for the visiting Hoosiers.
Loud again in Columbus. Bates hit one earlier, thought about it. Stepping back, long two, got it! Tamar Bates showing his skill set here in the second half.
Hey, listen, Coach Woodson said at the beginning, he had a little cockiness to him, but he's not scared at the moment. Right there, not scared at the moment.
7 big second half points for Tamar Bates. Liddell driving, stopping, missing. Flying through, though, Kyle Young. That was just an effort play from the senior. But then thrown away by Liddell. And calmly, Xavier Johnson holds it up for Indiana.
A little floppy their offense with the guards on the baseline. Coming up. Let this young man touch it. Run your offense through Davis. Allow him to make some plays for you.
Jackson Davis kicks to the corner. Stewart thought about it. Bates. He's had the hot hand. Not that time. And a rebound to Branham that Ohio State needed. What a game it's turned out to be. Less than 2 to play. Buckeyes down 4. Liddell. Now it's Branham for 3. Short. And right into the hands of Jackson Davis.
And that's a tough shot. That's almost like a tired shot for Branham. That just bailed out the Hoosier defense, and Woody wants a timeout here to settle his troops.
Ohio State,
the ones that were in uniform, able to go kind of honed in a little bit more, and they didn't allow getting down to dissuade what they had to do as far as their game plan.
Ohio State led by as many as 11.
Bad pass.
And a good job defending by Liddell. Ohio State's missed their last 9 shots. 1 minute to go. Branham spinning. Branham fading, and a foul on Parker Stewart will send Malaki Branham to the line.
Yeah, Branham right now got his shoulder below Parker and right there on the elbow. Everything was in the right position for Parker, but this is a young man in Branham that puts pressure on the defense, and now that in-between game that he has is very effective.
Branham 7 of 7 at the line tonight. 79% on the year, and now at 22 points. We talked about his big game at Nebraska, 35 points January 2nd. And he's putting on another big display here tonight. Here we go. Xavier Johnson wants the screen from Jackson Davis. Up top to Stewart. Indiana with 7 to shoot. Bates. Against Young. Fires it. No. Weak side rebound. Wheeler's got it. Shot clock off. Ohio State has a timeout if they want it. But Chris Holtman's going to let him go here, Jimmy.
Yeah, because you don't allow the defense to get set. He's coming back to his right hand off this pick.
Branham driving on Stewart. Gets to the baseline. Finds Liddell. We're tied at 63. Indiana has a timeout. Will they use it? No. One attempt at the buzzer is blocked by Wheeler. And we are destined for overtime in Columbus. Let's try 45. And Indiana controls the tap. Roy Branham picking up a foul as he knocked over Xavier Johnson.
I tell you what, if Johnson doesn't go to the floor, the officials don't call that. It's, you know, it's a bump. But because he did go to the floor, it's a correct call from the official.
Ohio State, the players out there, nobody has more than 3. For Indiana, Parker Stewart has 4 fouls. And then Johnson and Jackson Davis with 3. And it'll be Xavier Johnson at the line, a 73% shooter. Perfect tonight, 7 of 7 at the stripe for the senior transfer from Pitt.
Remember that graphic we had up, 84% between Stewart and Johnson at the free throw line when they win. That number dropped down to 51% between the two when they lost. So Stewart has 0 free throw attempts, but like you said, Johnson is 8 for 8.
Perfect 8 for 8, and he had 5 turnovers in the first 7 minutes of this game. He hasn't turned it over since. Branham to the corner. Michi Johnson, no, but a foul. They're going to get Tamar Bates, and that will send Michi Johnson to the line for 3.
By that time, Branham turns down the screen, comes back to his left hand, and just that little inch on the end where Bates didn't stay disciplined and stayed at home, came up off the baseline. And now when you have a long recovery to try to contest, a lot of times you may get caught with that foul.
And Michi Johnson, we mentioned the mask, how he said he's had struggles shooting the ball with that on. 1 of 4 from the field, but huge free throws here for the redshirt freshman. Misses the second. Not only the facial fracture, he also missed 2 games with a left ankle injury before returning against Iowa. So it's been a tough start to 2022 for Michi Johnson.
Yeah, but if you fight through this on the backside, the challenges that come after that are going to be minuscule in regards to what you've been through.
Tied up again. Xavier Johnson out to Bates, trying to get it into Thompson. He cannot. 3 to shoot. Johnson, great pass, and with 1 second to spare, Thompson lays it in.
But great decision by Johnson not to shoot a 4th shot. A couple times when he had it, he put it on the deck, got 2 feet in the paint. Guess what? You draw the defense and you make a play, and guess who's there available? Race Thompson.
Now Branham drives, and he has the answer off the glass. Right into the chest of Race Thompson. Eight ties, 10 lead changes here in Columbus in this one. Oh, Thompson wasn't ready for it. Bates got lucky. Trace Jackson Davis, he's been quiet the last 10 minutes or so. Left hand hook, off the heel. And Kyle Young saves it for Ohio State. And now Chris Holman calling out a set here in the front court. The Buckeyes have been tough here at home, 10-1. Only loss on Saturday against Iowa. In the corner, Wheeler got it. Just the 6 made 3 for Ohio State, but it puts them back in front. Thompson battling with Young, backing him down, kicks it out. Johnson baseline drive. And he got bumped. A foul on the floor. Both teams in the double bonus, 2 free throws coming.
I tell you what, when you got 25 points up to this time in the game, the defense is going to pay attention to you, right? So now you just got to make a play. And that's right there, him making a play by himself. But on this drive, look how far Xavier Johnson came over. Okay? That's showing a little bit of disrespect for the shooter in the corner, but a lot of respect to get the ball out of Branham's hands. But Michi Johnson, no, that was Jamari Wheeler made him pay.
After 4 misses from 3, it was first make of the night for Wheeler from long range. Now Xavier Johnson Back to the line. Xavier Johnson with 15 points. Make it 16 and a perfect 10 of 10 at the charity stripe.
And look who's bringing the ball up the court down for the Buckeyes and initiating the offense. It's going to get back in his hands at some point.
Malaki Branham back-to-back 20-point performances. Here's Wheeler, who hit the three a moment ago. Now Branham. Oh, they left him, so he drives. What a recovery. Thompson with a block. And then Trace Jackson Davis. It's going to be out of bounds on Indiana.
But you know what? Luckily, it did go off of Xavier Johnson, because that could have went right into the hands of maybe Jamari Wheeler underneath the basket. Good defense straight up in the air. Now watch the save at the end. If this doesn't go off of it, see Wheeler coming in, maybe it goes to a Buckeye player for a layup.
Only 5 on the shot clock here. Liddell, fadeaway jumper, tough shot. E.J. Liddell, the All-American. Back inside at 2 minutes. Ohio State by 3. Johnson, wait whistle, and a timeout. Mike Woodson, what a game he's having. So Mike Woodson, see what he drew up out of the timeout. Xavier Johnson drives, hangs, can't finish. And Young secures the rebound.
And Wheeler, look at it. He's looking for Malaki Branham, but they're going to get back into this. Says bring him up the middle.
Here's Branham. Back to Liddell, and they're going to give it back and forth. Batman and Robin tonight. But this guy's been Batman. Branham spinning, Branham hanging, and getting the bounce. 1 minute to go in overtime, and Ohio State's up 5. Johnson. Liddell went for the block, couldn't get it, but he does secure the rebound. And then Johnson fouls it. Oh, boy. Boy, Liddell frustrated.
Initial foul is there, and then it's the right hand underneath is what the technical foul is for, then the swipe by EJ.
Okay, after all of that, Ohio State with a chance here to extend this lead. And Liddell left it short, a 74% shooter.
Still a 2-possession game. If he makes this for Indiana, Mike Woodson chooses to take a timeout or gets it up quick.
6-point lead.
Push it up quick if you're Indiana. See if you can exploit it and get a quick 2. If they help, then you can get the 3 outside.
Keep in mind, Indiana not a great three-point shooting team, and they've hit 6 of 16 tonight. Parker Stewart giving it off to Cobb. Cobb curling and missing.
Push off.
Foul. Yep. They got Race Thompson for pushing in the back, and this is starting to unravel for the Hoosiers.
I tell you, but well drawn up play. You got Miller Cobb coming to his right. It's a little tougher shot to turn into because you got to square those shoulders up a little bit more than going left. And Wheeler is right there, chose to stay on the ground and not contest up top. And you see the push in the back of Kyle Young by Race Thompson.
And now Kyle Young toes the line and misses the first. Still 33.9 remaining. 2 timeouts for Ohio State, 1 for Indiana here. Buckeyes led by 11 in the second half. Indiana stormed back, had a 4-point lead late, but the Buckeyes scored on their final possession to force overtime. And now they have a 3-possession lead at 76-69. And Chris Holtman is going to take one of those remaining 2 timeouts. Let's see where they go. Tamar Bates, 7 points all since halftime. Here's Parker Stewart. 3-pointer left wing, and Stewart misses. Rebound comes to Wheeler. And now Indiana's back's really up against it with 19.9 remaining, and Ohio State going back to the line.
And that's where your guards come in important, to clean up those rebounds when the bigs are boxing out inside. Wheeler able to kind of wiggle his way in there and pick up that rebound.
Well, you can look at this 2 ways. Indiana fans are going to say this is a collapse. after having the 4-point lead late in a 5-game losing streak. But Ohio State, they really battled there in the final 2 minutes of regulation and have been strong at overtime.
Well, Indiana look at it as a game they gave away. They had momentum going down to the finish line. But again, I talked about how hard it is, in particular on the road too, at times to finish out what you've almost accomplished, which is winning the game.
Well, Mike Woodson has said he feels like his players sometimes recently have been looking over their shoulders to past seasons with their late struggles that have kept them out of the tournament. And they have struggled here in overtime, that's for sure. Another air ball.
To play one of the rare mistakes that we've seen Trace Jackson Davis make by coming off the baseline and giving that opportunity inside for Liddell.
And all of a sudden, Ohio State has actually matched their largest lead here as they've run away with it in overtime. Bates out of control, and Ohio State bounces back from the loss on Saturday. They force overtime and beat Indiana 80-69.